And it's a pleasure to be able to link. Make sure you hit that link, brothers and sisters. You've heard from the one and only legendary Dr. Leonard Jeffries. Brothers and sisters, time is moving on and we're getting strong. Dr. Leonard also mentioned the great works of the Honorable, we don't call him Marcus Garvey, we must say the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. And he said, a people without a knowledge of their history, yeah, and their origin and their culture is like a tree with no roots. They die, brothers and sisters, they die. And brothers and sisters, tonight's show, we're now going to be, later on, we're going to be going to Jamaica to listen to the legendary Rosemary Campbell, MBE. But before we go to Rosemary Campbell, brothers and sisters, cheers, you don't know every single time, yeah? Lick shot from Rastafari, Babylon, Buckfoot. We are going to be introducing you to my queen. Oh my God, brothers and sisters, this is the one and only Marva Rollins. This sister, brothers and sisters, I count her as one of my mentors. She is phenomenal. And I forgot to add her OBE. Yes, she's got her OBE, brothers and sisters, for the work that she's been doing in education and the work that she's been doing around the world. She's one of the greatest minds in the field of education in the UK. And she's the director, the founding director of the Rollins Education Institute. And Sister Marva, you are with us today. How you doing, my queen?
I'm fine, thank you, Andrew. I feel quiet after our two previous speakers. I feel as if, because I'm really quite quiet, folks. But yeah, I'm really great. I'm really great. Having a good time.
Oh, sister, you know what? I could not do today's show, sister. I could not do today's show. Okay, let me take back something, okay? No, we're not looking shot from Rastafari, forgive me. We're looking shot from Babylon, forgive me. Licking shot from Babylon. That's right. Sister Marva, please. I mean, you know, for those who may not have heard your name before, because if you're in education, your name is one of the authorities, especially in the UK when it comes to education. Sister, just let us know a little bit about who Marva Rollins is, sister, please.
Okay, Andrew. I'm not quite as old as our brother who just spoke, but I'm 70 and I've spent.
Oh, sister.
I know. You surprised you, didn't it? I celebrated my 70th birthday in December. Oh. And so I'm a mother, a great grandmother, and a grandmother, obviously. But my work in education has been nearly 40 years now. Wow. And I've spent 24 years and 2 terms of that time leading 2 schools as a head teacher in East London and North London. But the reason I think that I'm also here tonight is because of Rosemary and the work that we've been doing with Rosemary Campbell Stephens, which has been really exciting work. So I've spent much of my adult life really working within my community, not just locally, nationally, but I quite like working locally. And by locally, I mean doing everything I can to improve the life chances of our young people in the areas. So many of us are sitting in the areas of great deprivation. And my brief really has been, my personal brief is how many of those young people can I get up and out? Yeah, we go through a lot of stuff. So how can I embrace them and bring them through? So I've spent much of my time on the ground in the community, whether I'm going into family homes, police cells to sort out what's happening there, as you know. And then along with Don Ferdinand and others, we've been running programs to get more global majority teachers and into leadership. And that's been a long, long journey. I started that in 1991, and then I joined Rosemary in 2003 on her journey to increase the number of global majority leaders. I became a head in 95, and when I became a head in 1995, there was not a percentage. And the percentage is still low, but because of the work that so many of us have done, we now have a percentage in place of not a percentage. When I became a head, I think I knew 2 or 3 other Black head teachers. and you can end up fighting the fight on your own if you're not careful. My biggest challenge when I became a head was and we all used to racism, we all used to being challenged because of our race, but the pushback I got from being the first Black teacher in a school, in this school, and going in as the head teacher. They'd never had a Black teacher in that school before.
Wow.
And there was this Black woman coming to tell them about themselves, really. So yeah, so ask me some questions, because you and I have we've walked the plank together. We've challenged, we've stood up, we've sat down, and we've stood up again, taken a breath, but we've never ever been defeated. And that's my purpose, is to keep going. But I am handing on the baton to the next generation, because I think there's so many dynamic young people coming through that I think the baton will be safe in their hands, and they're going to keep running and pushing forward. There's those of us who's laid the foundation, and we have those before me. My parents came, they sent for us when we were teenagers. So we've laid the foundation.
Absolutely.
And so I'm happy to be here. And thank you, Andrew. You're forever one of my closest heartbeats. And so I enjoy working with you. You remember you used to come into my school. I used to get those young people going, and all over the place. You came into investing, you got us going. Hi, Rosemary. Hi, Rosemary. And you challenged us, because we were like one of the first people to see your interpretation of the Matrix.
Yes.
Yeah, we were one of the group. What a time that was back then. And it's still going now. Listening today and watching the chat, you can see how many young people are coming through. We're not a defeated people. We may be knocked down, but we bounce back, So yeah, but I've done a lot. I've been blessed. I've been given opportunities, and I've taken them to stand up for justice and fairness. I've sat in strategic meetings. I've sat in local meetings with a small group of people, all of us trying to make a difference. And it hasn't been easy. But I read one of the recent books I read, and then I'll stop there. It's Herman Ousley's book, Belonging.
Yes.
And it was what really struck me, because that's about our journey, might read before you, but our journey is the level of pushback he got. Elia, where did he work? He worked in quite a few areas, Brixton, wherever he went, he was fighting and fighting and fighting. There was so much pushback. But what really struck me is how he pushed through those pushbacks. Yeah. And one of the things he said at the end of his book, he said, I've come from obscurity into the limelight, and now I'm going back into obscurity, because he felt, I think, that he had done his bit for our people. And I'm kind of on that journey as well. That I feel strongly I've done, not my bit, but I've done a lot.
Yes.
But I am so pleased and proud of my young people that they've taken on the battle, the challenge, and whatever else we want to say, but they've taken it on, and they've taken it seriously, and they're in a position to know more than we knew when we started the journey. Absolutely. It was really in the 1980s that I got to grips with who I was as a young Black woman, and that's by going on programs about Africa, because we grew up in the Caribbean. And I have to say, I was talking today to some school leaders, and as a child in Barbados, I was born in Barbados. I came here at the age of 12 in the 1960s. My parents came in the 50s, so we're all from that trauma-induced young generation. Is that I knew my great-grandmother. She was born in the 1870s.
Yes.
But no one in my family or in my community ever mentioned the word slavery to us or enslavement. That came later. In fact, anything about race and our experiences came really from being in this country. It was in this country that I became aware that I was Black, because in the Caribbean, with Barbados is 97% African heritage. So my learning and my development came through being active in my community and really learning as I went along. So I have been reading Rosemary's book, and I have to say every paragraph I've highlighted something, which makes it very difficult, Rosemary. But thanks to Rosemary, we became aware that we are part of the global majority. Global majority. And Rosemary has pushed that message since to several decades ago. And we've all sat up and listened, really. And I know, Rosemary, you said it's not a homogeneous group, but we know that we're part of that group. And that makes me sit very comfortable in my skin, so that I am nobody's minority, okay? But yeah, I'm happy to be here. Any questions you want, I can probably answer most of them based on my experiences and other people's experience. And I'm really going to say thank you, Andrew, for keeping going. You're keeping the banner flying really high. And I'm an absolute, I stand in awe of you. I really do.
I bow to you. I bow to you, sister. I really do bow to you. Sister Jarita, now she wasn't expecting it. Sister Jarita, are you still there? Wow, I cannot believe Sister Jarita's with us. Fantastic, Sister Jarita. Brothers and sisters know that she's a part of the Hidden Truth team. She's been away for a little while, just studying. She's got to do some powers, but she's that next generation you've been speaking about, Sister Marva. Yeah. She's a young senior leader at her school. I don't know if she's deputy head or assistant head or whatever. Our sister will probably clarify that point. But Sister Jarita, you've got the phenomenal Marva Rawlings in front of us today. Can you please, sister, just share very briefly some of your experiences as a Black female member of the global majority? What challenges do you face as a Black woman in a senior leader position? And what advice, what question would you like to ask Sister Marva, who's literally done the book? She's written the book, done the book, the whole shebang. But just share with us, because you're going through it now, sister. The trials as a sister who's conscious in that education system. Please share with us briefly.
Well, evening, Sister Marva. Lovely to see you. And evening, everybody, and evening to everybody who has said hello, who I got to meet this weekend at the weekend. Brilliant to see all of you. You know, this Zoom is all about education, and so I could not miss this one. This is my little niche here, I guess, and so I had to make sure that I was here, albeit late, because it's the first day back at school today. So work licked me already. But anyway, here we are. What in terms of your question, I guess all I can explain is this. So yes, I'm vice principal of the school that I am at the moment. So second in charge. It's an all-through school that I work at. So we have children all the way from 5 years old all the way to 16. So we've got both phases, primary and secondary, on the same site. And I look after the education for all of them. In terms of the challenges that I've faced, I've been teaching now for 13 years, 14 years. The challenges that I have faced over time, and I don't know if anybody would really be surprised, but actually when I say this out loud, people tend to raise their eyebrows and then go, actually, maybe you're telling the truth here. But a lot of the challenges I have faced in my time has usually come from my own people.
Wow.
Wow. And they have given me the most stress. It's almost as though I have to prove myself twice. I mean, usually we have to do more than everybody else anyway. We know this, we know we have to be equally as good and even better just to get the same kind of acknowledgements and accolades. But the people who have given me the most strife at work, the most challenge, the most backlash, the most pushback, the most attitude, the most whatever you want to say in that kind of realm has been our own people. And I've recently started a new school, and actually even I went to that new school excited really to take up this post, because when I went there, I realized that the majority of the people there are Black. And I was really happy. It was a black head teacher. I was like, what? I'm in, this is it, this is my place. I feel like, you know, I'm gonna be with my people, and we are gonna make strides and movements. And actually, what I'm feeling in this place is that sometimes they make me wish, only a small amount of time, I ain't gonna say all the time, but sometimes I come home and go, boy, maybe I had it good with some of these white people, you know, maybe I had it good with them after all, because I wasn't getting this much issue. So all I can say is that sometimes, I don't know, somebody's put it in the chat, Melanie said jealousy, some people have said, YV, she said, is it dysfunction? You know, colonized minds. Yeah, I think it's all of those things. You know, I've had a lot of people in my current school talk to me about, who I'm now line managing as deputy, and who have said to me, you know, I've been teaching for 25 years, or I've been teaching longer than you've been alive. And it's like, this is not about time in service, although obviously with time in service, you grow in wisdom, yes, but actually, we have to also acknowledge that it's not just about time when it comes to education. It's also about moving with the times, and making sure that you can implement the things that are necessary for the space that you are in. And so I guess, what can I say? The challenge sometimes comes from our own. But my own question, sorry, you wanted to cut me, go ahead.
Just before you go into your question, sister, because you raised up a powerful point just there. I mean, we can't just jump over that, sister. You've got your question. Please hold on to your question. But Marva, just briefly, what's your? Do you understand where the sister's coming from? Does it can resonate with you? Have you experienced it? Do you say no, sister? That's not the truth. Please, sister. What was it? Because when Jurita said that, the platform exploded just then. What's your views on what she just stated there, sister? Can you resonate with that?
Jurita, it happens. It happens at different levels as well. And whether it's uncertainty, being uncomfortable in their skin. I think some of our people get anxious when, just some of them, not all of them, I'm not doing the stereotype stuff, when they see one of us. And part of the anxiety is, how well are we going to do the job? Are we going to let them down? Yeah. And I think, and can they really be seen to be over friendly with you? Because they don't want the people to think that they're carrying favor because you come from the same global group as them. So there are lots of issues going on. And there's a challenge with some, I have to say, and I'm not going to do the negative, some Black parents as well. I've been called coconut, I've been called bounty, I've been called all sorts, really. But you know what? It is their uncertainty. It's them not yet, they're still on the journey. And you keep going, you keep chatting to them, you keep being warm and friendly with them, and most people will come around. Whatever the reasons, it might be, if they're 20 people, they might have 20 different reasons, and you haven't got time to be unpicking all of that. You just have to demonstrate that you're confident, you're competent, you know what you're about, you're here for the children, you've got a special eye on the Black children, and you're going to do your job and do your job well. And then you find your allies, because there will be some people on the staff who will be your allies. And bit by bit by bit, you break down the uncertainty. It just might be anxiety. It just, who knows, yeah? It might be jealousy, but I'm not sure. But yeah, we've all been there. But you know what? I've still worked with more supportive Black people than I've worked with those who are not, yeah? Many, many more, yeah? People who are glad I'm there, parents who are so happy to see me, even if they don't know my name, but they still know what it is. Much, much, much more support than the few who have been expressing uncertainty. But I do know, and I'm going to say one more thing, Andrew. I have sat in audiences when the Black speaker stood up to speak, and I'm thinking, dear Lord, let them be good, let them be good, let them be good. Yeah, I've done that, yeah, because they represent me. And I'm sure when I stand up to talk, people say, oh, please let Marva make sense today or something, who knows. But yeah, you're going to meet it, but we're not going to be defeated. They're on their journey. We've been on our journey, and give them space, just give them space, but keep going.
So what's your
Thank
question,
you. No.
sister?
No, I'll just say I agree with that. I mean, as much as I've said that, the people who have given me the most stress have been our own people. I mean, at the same time, the people who have supported me as well have been our own people also.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the people, when I say give me most stress, I mean the stress that I can quantify and see and feel. I mean, Caucasians have their way, but it's underlying. It's more subtle.
You know what it is as well. You didn't expect it. Yeah, you didn't expect any of it, not even from one person, because we see ourselves as a united people, and we are united. But one person would have thrown you, 2 or 3 would definitely throw you a bit more. Yes. But they're okay. They're okay. They're just getting there.
So, sis, my question to you is this: what do you think is the best way forward in order for us to get our children over the line? The next step in order for us to get our children over the line in education. I mean, Lady Ma Adele is online, and me and her have spoken about opening schools. Even this weekend, we were like, we've tried this, we've tried this. Is it possible? Can we do this? What do you think is possible for right now, and what do you think that we should be striving for? Because people have tried different things. Some things are working. We're going to try and knock the barrel again and see if we can try it again. But what do you think is within our remit to do now? Yeah. What is the next step? How can we galvanize a team and do whatever that might be?
Okay, I do quite a few reviews in schools, looking at what's happening to our children in schools. This is a particular program I'm working on in Haringey, and a Black dad put it really well, because I talk to parents as well as staff and to children, and he said we have got to stop outsourcing our children's futures to the white community.
Woo!
That's what Black dad said. There were other Black parents in the room. I talked to Black parents, you know, schools have to be very bold in saying, I said, I want to talk to Black parents, I talk to Black. He said, we've outsourced our children's futures too long to the white community. So, but I know that's, our parents come like any other cultural groups, those who know a lot academically, socially, etc., and those who need help. And that is the challenge, that some of our young mums and dads do need help. They've gone through the education system here. They felt defeated by it, and therefore they feel automatically that their children are going to be defeated in it. So they may not be pushing as hard as we would like them to push. And on the other hand, you have organizations like the Reach Society who step up, and those dynamic professional Black men say, come Black boys, let's take you with us, yeah? And they do a lot of work. I've never moved towards a Black school. You know, that's just me in preference, because so many of our children will still be left in the other schools. And we can't be sure that our Black parents, even because don't always trust anyone, we can't be sure that they will be trusting us. It is hard, isn't it? Because there's a couple of things. 50% of our young people, our children, are said to be living in poverty. And over 50% are not attaining as well as they should do in the system. And the system is rigged, yeah, conscious or unconscious. When I do that stuff, I said conscious and unconscious both have the same impact on our young people. But I don't have the answer. I think if I had the answer, Rosemary will tell you that between us, we would have sorted it out in our years of walking the plank together. I do think that that is right. We have got to pull back and look more closely. And I know the education system should do what it should do, but it was set up to fail white working class children anyway. And we fell into that situation. When I went to secondary school here, there was absolutely no aspiration for white working class children unless they'd crept out and got into grammar schools. Yeah, and the system hasn't changed much. Because if you were to break down, I know we're not here to worry about the white children so much, if you were to break down the working class from the middle class, you will see that working class white children are sitting alongside the Black children in terms of attainment. It's a bigger system than just race. Yes, so yeah, I haven't, I'm heading out. I'm a bit like Herman Ousley. I'm about to step out into whatever he said he was going back into, and I haven't found the answer. What I have found is that when I've been a leader, I don't mess with my Black children. I tell them straight, if you even don't want to achieve, you're going to achieve, yeah? Because there's some resistance sometimes. So, and I have ways of talking to them that ensures that they listen. And also to instill something in them where if they're not yet ready to listen, it will come back to them later. One young man came back at 16 to tell me that at 14, he heard my voice in his head. So it's about us keep plugging the message, keep plugging the message, keep plugging the message. They will wake up at some point. I don't have the answer to that one.
But that's beautiful. And you see what I love, Sister Marva, and what you've shown here today in your answer, and to end it off with I don't know. You see, that is when you know you're dealing with someone who's totally sincere and totally truthful, because see, you can't make up an answer. You know what I'm trying to say? If you can say, and you're confident and strong enough yourself, so you know what, sister, I haven't got the answer for that one. You know what I mean? I can got some opinions, but not necessarily the answer. This is something that that answer is something that we've got to find together.
And can I just say, can I bring Rosemary? Rosemary, when you worked in Waltham Forest, there was a school, a Black school, wasn't there?
So Sister Marva, I'm not going to bring in Rosemary yet.
All right, okay. But when she comes in, we did have a Black school in Waltham Forest many years ago. And then all sorts of things went on there that may have been hijacked as well. There might have been all sorts of factors around it, but it didn't survive for very long. But there was a Black school for Black children, and it was a public school. It was, when I say public school, it was a government school. Yes. It wasn't a private school.
Yes.
But Rosemary might know more about the politics behind it, but I know that's something. And that's not to say we shouldn't try again. I've done all sorts in education. I've driven agendas. I've pulled back on some agendas, and I'm not sure. I just know that the current situation cannot continue to exist, but I don't have the total solution.
Well, hopefully today we're going to be going into that. As you know, brothers and sisters, you know, we still got Lady my Aunt Adele to come onto the platform with Sister Rosemary Campbell. These are the issues that we do want to go into, though, because they said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and again and expecting different results. So I'm going to say that because we've got to start thinking outside the box. And hopefully tonight, in terms of educational leadership and the global majority thinking, we can start looking at some of these points and some of these answers. Because to me, that's where we have to go. We cannot allow a schoolgirl queue to go by, and we just go on like business as usual. Hell no, hell no. And these are things we're going to be going into. So, brothers and sisters, you're on the Hidden Truth Show. You've just heard from Sister Marva. We're going to be coming back to Sister Marva when she's back with Sister Rosemary Campbell, MBE, because you know what? Tonight, we're going to be rocking and rolling. Okay, brothers and sisters, we're approaching nearly 400 people with laptops on the show at the moment, which is good. Make sure you keep phoning your friends. Let them know that tonight, the leadership of education is under our control. Brothers and sisters, as you know, you're with Andrew Muhammad, the investigator, and we say every single week, you must unlearn what you have learned. That is a starting point of wisdom. You must unlearn what you have literally thought that you've learned. And so the part of that, brothers, is that we've got to invest in our young people. We started up 2 academies, the Westside Young Leaders Academy and the Lewisham Young Leaders Academy. You know, we speak about them every single week. You know, we have the East London Young Leaders Academy, and we have the Milton Keynes Academy, and we have the South London Young Leaders Academy. That revolution has started, brothers and sisters, but it's not being televised. We are working day and night for these answers, brothers and sisters. And last week, we were blessed to have Chef Kev on the platform. And Chef Kevin, as you know, is one of our celebrity chefs in our community. And he recently was at our academy, the West Side Young Leaders Academy. And this is with our Chef Kevin action.
Right, so now, I'm Chef Kevin. I've been cooking for about 30 years. I've cooked on Channel 4, I've cooked at the BBC, I've cooked for some big time, and I love food. Now, when it comes to food, there's key things you're looking at. You want to make sure you've got enough colours. So that's why you've got carrots, you've got onions, you've got peppers. You've got to make sure you've got enough colours. The soy sauce I'm using is a dark soy sauce. Reason being, it gives your noodles a nice colour. Then you've got to think about the flavour. I've got chilies, I've got black pepper, I've got salt, I've got a Himalayan pink salt, bad boy salt that. So I've got stir fry oil. Instead of normal oil, I've got stir fry oil. It's got ginger and garlic. So straight away, as soon as you start cooking, you start smelling some bad flavours. Once you've got those flavours going through, it just makes all the difference. When you've got your food, and before you even eat your food, you know when your mum's cooked it or your dad's cooked, and you smell some food, you're thinking, boy, I can't wait to eat that. Do you get that sometimes, boys?
Yeah.
Your food, you're upstairs in your room, and you smell those flavors coming through, and you're thinking, I can't wait to eat. Now that's how food is supposed to be.
So you see there, that's our chef. We can't say it can't be done. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, we have the answers. But are we going to be man and woman enough to say, you know what? Let's take control of our education. Don't be scared, brothers.
Right, so now
we have seen it. I do this every single week. I see our parents. This is one of our parents giving us feedback recently.
Okay, I want to say a big thank you to the Weiler family. My daughter Martina, who attends Weiler, she has come along so well. She started when it was lockdown time, during the competition time. She would do the competitions, but Martina wouldn't submit them. She was that shy and was so not confident. Martina has gained so much confidence now that she has applied for prefect. She's become a prefect. Now she's a mentor in school. Her grades have improved. She's doing brilliantly well. And even at home, she's cooking, she's cleaning, everything. There's such a big change in Martina. And there's nothing else that will convince me that it's because of Weiler. So thank you, Brother Andrew, Sister Corsi, Brother Mark, Brother David, and those behind the scene. Thank you very much for having Martina. Thank you.
So you see there, brothers and sisters, this is not just words. The parents are backing us. They've seen just by them being with us on a Saturday. We haven't got a full-time school, but just the influence of just being in that curriculum, being in a center that is about them, and they can find themselves with love and identity, brothers and sisters. This is what can you imagine if we had our full-time school? Can you imagine if we can have that foundation, brothers and sisters? Don't say it can't be done. I'm telling you, don't say it cannot be done. We are doing it every single week for the last 12 years, and our children have been metamorphosized before our very eyes. Sisters, yeah, I want to give a massive thank you to JJ Sorrell, who at our weekend, brothers and sisters, she raised hundreds of pounds for our academy. At our wellness weekender. We didn't ask her to do it. She done it out of her own heart, brothers and sisters. And that's what we need. Once there's a revolution of our global thinking and understand that education should be at the forefront of every single thing that we do. If we do anything without our children in our minds, then what we're doing is doomed to failure. Our children must be at the forefront of everything, whether it's dance, music, fashion, investment, banking. Our children must be in the forefront of our minds, brothers and sisters. And JJ, we thank you. I want to give another thank you to, I'm not going to give her a full name because she may not want me to say her name, but just today alone, brothers and sisters, I was welcomed with a text by a sister. I'm going to call her Precious. And if she's on the platform today, I have to give you a shout out, sister. She donated just today £1,000 to the our academy. And I'm going to say that one more time. The sister, none of us are rich, but the sister texted me today, and I'll check the bank account, £1,000 today. That is what I'm talking about, brothers and sisters. When we've got that mentality, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, my bank is the people's hearts. And I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, It's the heart of our people that's going to make changes today. So I want to give a massive, in fact, drop some ones in the chat room for Sister Precious. Drop some ones in the platform. If Precious, if you're watching and if you're listening, we're going to be emailing. I think we already sent you an email today, sister, thanking you, because £1,000 and everyone's, you know, in a hard position today. You don't know how much those young people will bow to your charity, sister. And on top of that, at the Wellness Weekender, I'm just sitting down, minding my own business. A sister comes up to me, Andrew, here's £50 for your academy. I didn't ask. I was just sitting down listening to the lecture. £50. So sister, if you're on the platform tonight, I'm thanking you too. And I'm saying, you brothers and sisters, it's a new day. I don't care what anyone says. It's a new day. And we need to garnish this new thinking. So brothers and sisters, if you love what Brother Andrew Muhammad is doing with his team, then I'm asking you, brothers and sisters, to donate. If not finance, your time, your expertise, your skills to my academy, the Westside Young Leaders Academy, the Lewisham Young Leaders Academy. You see the work that we do. We don't hide it. I've got nowhere to run, brothers and sisters. It's our time. And so we thank you for your works and your heart, brothers and sisters. We're nearly approaching. Don't forget, every single Tuesday, we're on the platform. The Investigator, Lady Ma'at, Sister Samira, Sister Jurita, Mini Investigator China, Chef Kevin is a part of the team now. And we're going to be hearing from Chef Kevin in a second. But before we do,